Oh, my head. What happened last night? Feels like I've been hit in the face with a sledgehammer. Oh. Well, I guess it's time to do the Doctor Who review for the week. I don't really want to do it because, colonialism, so I think I'll just leave it. Wait a minute. This is not my beautiful chair. This is not my beautiful house. Why am I tied to a chair in a warehouse?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Mirror Review. Wait, no, wrong podcast. Hang on. What are we doing here? Retro Geeks? No.
We're
Retro
doing a Doctor Who review.
No.
Son of
Adventure Zone? No. Oh, right. Doctor Who Reviews. Yes. Okay, welcome to another exciting episode of Doctor Who Reviews. I'm your host, Freezing Inferno, and today we'll be talking about episode 6 of the Jodie Whittaker era, The Demons of the Punjab.
Rainiac, you need to stop struggling so much. Seriously, the ropes are coming loose, and you're not helping.
To my immediate virtual right, Jaws ain't really her scene, and she don't like Star Wars. It's Kat.
But I love Star Wars, and I love Jaws. The hell are you on about?
Just 3 more.
That's what's in my notes. To my immediate virtual left, he's all tied up with no place to go. It's Rainiac.
I cannot believe you've done this.
What? I hired the deadliest ninjas in the universe to make sure that you were here for this review?
What if they hit me with a beer bottle?
Well, no, that was actually me, and I hit you with a copy of the Twin Dilemma, so...
That explains the size of the headache, at least.
Well, it is Colin Baker.
What's not a headache is this episode!
Speak for yourself.
Give the man an aspirin and let him talk about this wonderful little episode of TV.
You've kind of taken over my podcast, and you have had me kidnapped by ninjas, but I'm nothing but a professional, so I'll run with this for the time being. So yeah, Demons of the Punjab then. Oh wow.
This was really good.
It was thought-provoking. All right. Now I understand why you've got me against my will. Let me have it.
So, how about them demons who turned out to not be white people this time? That was amazing.
Yeah, we totally called it wrong last week.
Well, I mean, technically the demons were still humans. They just weren't white people for once. Well, okay, let's be fair. It was technically kind of white people.
How about them white people tearing India apart, causing untold amounts of human loss and suffering on a level that we felt in a beautiful tragedy of television drama?
Yes, all right. I get it. Yes, the spectre of colonialism looms large in this episode. Yes, my country was largely responsible for colonialism, but not largely, it was responsible for colonialism. No, I myself was not personally responsible for colonialism.
Well, no, but we weren't responsible for racism, but we still got kidnapped and tied up, and Fred got harassed by Daleks. You know, the space racist.
I didn't do that.
To be fair, they had it coming.
They did.
Did they ever find the pieces of that Dalek you battered with the baseball bat?
I hope not.
Anyway, I actually like the fact that there were no British characters, other than the companions, of course, in the episode. I like the fact that they were more of a background evil. Not because this absolves us. Not because it absolves us. Quite the opposite. But because I have to be honest with you guys. The Partition of India, or the Raj, is not really that well taught, or taught at all, generally, in British schools.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So, I've had to look this up myself. And what they said about the millions of people that died and the 15 million people that were displaced, absolutely true.
Damn.
Yep.
And it's quite frankly very, very sad that not more people know about it. And hopefully that this episode has, at the very least...
You know why, right?
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Because history is written by the winners, and people don't always want to air out their dirty laundry, which is why, when I was in school, I never learned about the Japanese-American internment camps at all. I never even knew that they existed until I got out of school and decided to look it up. The other thing was, you all might have heard of a little event that affected millions and millions of people called the Holocaust. And I'm going to drop that bombshell early on. Can either of you guess how much of my history book was devoted to the Holocaust?
None of it.
I'm going to guess about 1%.
One paragraph.
Jesus.
One paragraph that just described that it happened, and that's it.
That's just sad.
That gels with what I learned in school. I mean, you learned, Hitler killed millions of Jews, but you don't really learn about the whole rise of fascism or any of that shit. The actual
plus the fact that
build up to this.
Everybody says it was just Jewish people, and that's not true. There were also, people of other religions. There were people who were, called gypsies. There were homosexual people. There were disabled people. There were Germans who, just went against what Hitler wanted. So
Lithuanians, Balkans, Soviets.
And the same thing happens here, where you just don't get taught this sort of thing. Or like with the genocide of Rwanda, I'm sure that there's a lot of things that we don't know about that happened. When it comes to these major events that, let's put it this way, they directly affect minorities, we tend to sort of try to erase it in order to appeal, to appear better than what we are. And while, things like Rwanda and the partition were mostly done by people of color, in this case, the people of Pakistan and the people of India went against each other for their religion. The fact is that it was still started by racist old white people, which is a sad truth that we need to make sure that we know.
Yeah. And I have to say, it's a bold move. It's a very bold move by the writer. Sorry,
it's
go on.
hard and it's difficult, but it's just one of those things that we need to remember, and that's why this episode does the partition so well. Is that it doesn't make them the main threat like it did in Rosa. Rosa was all about the main threat being racism itself. Here with the partition, this is not about racism or the effects of colonialism as much as Frez wants it to be. And I'm sorry if I'm, sort of monopolizing this, but I have a lot to say.
That's fine. I'll talk later.
This episode is about the effects it has on the little people, the people who aren't in the big city and who live out on a farm, like literally right on the border itself. The effects that it has on a family between brother and brother, between husband and wife, and just this is the sort of personal approach that we needed. Rosa gave us the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's almost a Shakespearean tragedy in a way. Like, this is Romeo and Juliet, but interdenominational.
Yeah, and then the only really big difference between this and Romeo and Juliet, other than the fact that, there wasn't romance and all the drama shit that happened in Romeo and Juliet, is the fact that this sort of event could have actually happened, and we might never know.
And this is why I think it's more effective than Rosa. With Rosa, it's a very well-known event that the episode is framed around. And therefore, everyone watching it knows what's going to happen at the end. This one, as Caitlin Smith said on Twitter, and by the way, we need to get her on the show if we can ever get the time chromosomes to work out properly.
You want 2 Clara Oswald fans on this show? You'll die.
Well, if Clara Oswald ever comes back to the show, we have to have her on, I think, as a matter of principle. Hey, I'm a Clara Oswald fan too.
If Clara ever comes back to the show, everybody's minds are going to explode.
Not to the level of you or
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Comes back to the show, I'm going to be screaming for
Not to the level of you or Caitlin, but I'm a fan of Clara.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, Rosa. We all knew what the end result was going to be. It was going to be that scene on the bus because we all know the history books. Here, Vinay Patel, the first-time writer, by the way, what a hell of a debut for a first-time writer.
I would say best first-time debut since Sarah Dollard.
I think that's fair.
I don't know. I can't think if there are any debuts in Series 10.
There was a debut in Modern Who with Rona Munro.
Well, yeah.
But that was not really a success.
I don't really.
But anyway, Patel takes the very smart decision to, instead of taking a big event that we all know about, he makes it far more personal and small. And because of that, we don't know for certain how the events of the episode are going to play out. Like we have clues here and there.
About halfway through.
Yeah, we have.
Once we get halfway through,
but halfway through, not right at the beginning.
Yeah, I will say you basically know that what will happen at the end if you're genre savvy. Like as soon as you see, there's this guy who's not Yaz's grandpa, and he's got the watch that was broken. You think, and you're in the Partition of India, which is a violent time. You know. Basically, this is not
2 weeks to retirement.
Yeah, you know he's 2 weeks away from retirement, but you don't know why and who's going to...
you don't know the details, which is what makes things so interesting to play out.
You don't know who's going to prematurely retire him, so to speak. I think it's a controversial move as well to not include more than just the basic details of the partition in the episode itself, but in a way I think that's actually a good thing.
I mean, it's just what you said. By making it a thing that's happening over there, and then focusing on the little people, and then having the partition in the form of those guys on horseback at the end come in for the tragedy, bringing the tragedy to them. That makes things so much more effective. I find. If we were just in
it's a very personal story. We're not here to learn about the partition itself or the people involved in it. We're here to learn about the effects that it has on this one family. Well, technically 2 families that just live in this one little region.
And it's beautiful in a lot of ways. I really love it.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. I think the point actually is that because they'd only included surface details, it does force viewers, like I did, to look up the Partition of India and find out for themselves.
That's really great.
It's not even just looking it up. It's the fact that we're getting the same information that they're getting. So that means that we know the same information that they know. So that makes us connect with them more in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Rosa, we had advanced knowledge of what was going to happen. We knew she was going to, refuse to move her seat. She was going to get arrested, and her life was going to change for both better and worse. Here, we had no idea what was going to happen, and it was great that we had no information on what the partition was doing because, that put us in the setting. That connected us.
I agree.
Is it unfair of me to say that this was Rosa done better?
I wouldn't go that far, but here's what I'll say. They're both similar in that they're historical sort of stories, and they have this deep emotional connection and whatnot. But this is a tragedy as drama entertainment. And Rosa is just, it's very good, but it's so uncomfortably tense with its racism aspects that it's not exactly something that you're going to throw on Saturday evening and get a bag of chips and just watch and enjoy.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's an episode that's really hard to go back to.
That you definitely want to watch, but
Like, I'm not knocking the quality of the episode. I'm glad they made Rope, and I'm glad they said what they had to say. Mallory Blackman said what she needed to say about that. But it's not light entertainment by any means. It's
No.
and it's not meant to be.
This one is also not light entertainment. I started crying during it. I'm sure you two probably felt super emotional as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to assume that you were crying as well, because who knows? But
Well, you know.
I will say I wasn't crying, but I was deeply moved by the ending.
Yeah, that's a mood. But yeah, it's not exactly light entertainment, but at the same time, it's something that's less heavy, let's say. Does that make sense to you?
I'll put it this way. I could not enjoy Rosa, but I appreciated Rosa for what it was.
Oh, that. There you go. You said it better than I could.
This one, I found parts of it were enjoyable, and I didn't feel as uncomfortable as I did with Rosa.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, when we rank the stuff, I'm sure, like, I'll probably, unless there's a real standout thing, Demons and Rosa are going to be vying for the top 3 spot.
Well, I'm telling you right now, with 4 episodes to go, I'd be very surprised if Demon gets knocked off out of my top 3.
I would love it if it was, because I strive for each new Doctor Who to be better than the last, but, well, realistically, it can't happen. There's going to be ups and downs. But, you know, fingers crossed.
I mean, there's less competition. There is less competition this year because there's only 10 episodes as opposed to 12, and we don't quite know what's going on with the Christmas special. Is it a Christmas special, or is it being moved to New Year's Day, as has been rumoured? We don't know.
Who knows? But so far, the worst episode, quote-unquote, has been Conundrum. So, I have hope for this series.
Yeah. I mean, that was... Oh, that's just okay. So, that's...
Yeah.
We haven't had any, like, abominations yet.
It is quite telling, I think, that we've gone from the weakest episode, I think, to the strongest.
This is like when we went from... Oh, fuck. I can't think of it. When we went from Before the Flood to Girl Who Died, and I was like, oh, thank God.
When we went
Good Doctor Who.
When we went from Eaters of Light to World Enough in Time.
Yeah, I guess.
Because Eaters of Light was not objectively terrible, it was just kind of there. It was just kind of dull.
It's like when we went from Moffat to Chibnall.
Oh, Jesus.
Took me a second to get that, but yeah.
Yeah, I went there.
Oh my God.
You certainly did, Kat. You certainly did. Well done.
So, why don't we get into more specifics about the episode rather than just saying it moved me and it rose of this or that?
It moved me into a warehouse.
Let's just say it moved me to a bigger house!
No, it moved me to a warehouse because that's where you got me the ninjas to send me, I guess.
Oh, is that what they do? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's not technically a warehouse, but you'll find out later. Never mind.
I'm not looking forward to that at all.
So how about the Doctor?
Oh my God. Can I just say it? Can I just say it?
What?
It's been 6 episodes. Jodie Whittaker is a national treasure.
Oh, I love her.
Yes. She's a national treasure here, and she's not even from this nation.
Have you seen the video of her surprising people?
There's like 3 videos of her surprising people. She's the John Cena of Doctor Who's.
I can't believe
we are,
you made that
however, going
reference.
to have to kidnap her from you guys, so just warning you.
Yeah.
Well, I could do with some company in this warehouse, I guess.
Don't look in any of the boxes. Just saying.
You can't. He's tied up.
If I could,
he might get free.
If I could look in the
struggling.
boxes, just theoretically saying I could look in the boxes. Am I going to find Gwyneth Paltrow's head?
No, you're going to find my exotic collection of mirrors.
I think I'll leave the boxes alone.
Going to get melted off along with a bunch of knots.
I think I'll leave the boxes alone. No, she's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant.
She's and there's a lot going on. It's not that she's brilliant, but there's a lot going on with the fact it's hard to talk about it the way we're segmenting things and not talking like through the episode, but I'll just say it like this. Her first confrontation with the aliens of the episode, the monster, so it is I noticed it's very Moffat-esque in a way. Like, they're referred to as the deadliest assassins in the universe. And she's like, oh, you're up to no good on Earth. You can't do that. I'm the doctor. You stop it now or I'll stop you. Like, you know.
Blah, blah, blah. Demons run. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
You could imagine Matt Smith or David Tennant or whoever delivering that snap, right? And I'm watching, I actually thought in the moment, wow, that's really, really doctorish for her. Dang. They're really writing some doctor lines for her. They're giving her a chance to flex and show that she is indeed another incarnation of the Doctor. And then the twist happens, and she goes to her kinder mode, which we saw in episodes like, well, basically every episode, but especially that bit in the Saranga conundrum where she was panicking about getting the TARDIS, and Astos was like, you can't move the ship. You gotta be rational about this. And she apologized for her overreacting and shit, and showing empathy and compassion and all that. That's what happens in the twist of this episode when she realizes what's going on. She becomes
she immediately moves her hands into the mode that the way that they're holding their hand. She shows it's beautiful.
It's really different the way it's really different, and it's really interesting the way that the twist turns this from like what you think will be a Moffat era episode of the aliens are doing a bad and we're going to stop them and save the day, to the more tragic thing that you all were talking about. Rainiac was talking about this in the Arachnids review, of how the Doctor doesn't always save the day, and that's refreshing, but she can do something to make a difference.
Yeah.
Which I'll have more words about later.
Yeah, it's fine. This is the second episode in a row now where the Doctor has got it wrong.
What did she get wrong last time?
About the ship. You just said it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that.
She wouldn't listen to the fact they were on a spaceship and that she was endangering everybody. And here, she's so convinced, oh yeah, they're assassins, I have to stop them. And then it's only when she's forced to listen to what they have to say, she realizes, hang on a second, I've got this completely the wrong way around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's refreshing.
Okay, I like it a lot more than Arachnids, and we're going to get to that when we talk about, I guess, the aliens themselves. But Kat and I had an interesting conversation about this compared to Arachnids last night, which we'll probably mention a bit.
Yeah,
and I look forward to hearing that.
Can I say, so in the last series before Capaldi fully regenerated, he had his huge speech, and he was saying things like, be kind, and essentially everything that sort of influenced the character of Jodie that we have now. So what I want to say is, why the fuck is this what you keep in continuity when you have Gus? Where's Gus? I want Gus, damn it! I'm still mad. You keep this in continuity, but you're not keeping anything else, and I'm so annoyed.
Hashtag justice for Gus.
God.
You think I won't do it? I'm going on Twitter right now.
No,
it is 2:02 p.m.
That's co-signed.
Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing it right now.
That's co-signed. Justice for Gus. Let's do it.
The woman who actually made "Go Exterminate Yourself" at Gmail.
No, I think she's onto something. Let's do it. Justice for Gus.
Justice for Gus. She's. Oh my god.
I just tweeted it. 2:03 p.m.
I'm looking at
Eastern
this.
Standard Time.
Okay. Y'all, I'm checking Twitter right now.
Well, I would if I wasn't tied to a chair in a warehouse.
I'll get one of the ninjas to show you.
You can look at my phone. There you go.
I don't see it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you did.
She
really did.
She did it.
She did it. Brainiac, put it on screen. She did it.
Wait, Stan Lee's dead?
What?
Oh my god!
Why is he on Twitter?
What the?
Okay. That's very sad, but really getting off track.
That's not a bit, is it?
That's not a bit. I can see it on mine too.
Oh my
I'm so sad
God!
now.
That's very unfortunate.
Well, I guess
You
people now
heard
know
it
when this
here,
was being
folks.
recorded.
2:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stanley's dead.
Oh,
I'm sad.
dear God.
Ah,
Well,
yeah.
he had a hell of a run.
Oh God, yeah.
Wow, we went from justice to ghost to the death of Stan Lee. Oh my God.
This is what happens when you check Twitter during recording.
That's made me feel really strange now.
Well, we are talking about tragedy on this.
Yeah. Right. Well, rest in peace, Stan Lee. I guess.
Onward and upwards, I guess.
I guess we have to. But wow. So yeah, my favourite scene is the dialogue where she just sort of casually says, back when I was a man.
Oh, you're joking. What a funny joke. Yes, I often joke about gender and body regeneration. It's the running gag for me.
I hope that didn't. I really hope that didn't offend people.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I hope not. I personally thought they pitched that perfectly.
Same, but no. If you didn't like it, I have my sympathy.
My favorite scene of hers was where she was listing all the different ingredients she needed to figure out what the dust was. And she's just like an ox spit, a chicken poo, and a biscuit.
Why a biscuit?
I like biscuits.
Yes. But Jodie Whittaker is just the bee's knees.
Oh, I love her.
The bee's knees, the cat's whiskers, and the dog's bollocks.
Dark. Everything's suddenly really gloomy now because we found out that information.
Yeah, but we have to press on.
Can we dedicate this episode to Stanley?
Absolutely. He had nothing to do with Doctor Who, but absolutely. I mean,
he's in the spirit geek culture. It counts.
Yeah. Wow, that is major.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the other characters that got the major development other than the Doctor?
Prem?
What regular character?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
Yaz
got
is pretty
another
good.
episode.
Yaz is pretty good in this.
That she is.
She finally gets some flesh on the bones, so to speak.
I really like.
Yeah. This is actually something that I have a bit of trouble with. Like, if I'm playing The Sims, for example, if I have more than 3 Sims, I honestly have real trouble controlling, like making sure each Sim has, they've gone to the bathroom, they've eaten and stuff like that. So I had a real worry that with 3 different companions, they would have a hard time finding something for each of them to do. And we have seen that before, especially in like the previous episode where Yaz and Ryan just sort of stood around for, half the episode while Graham did everything. And then all of a sudden they call to action. So it's really nice that they're able to give everybody their own little, bits in the episodes, and everybody does something and nobody's like superfluous.
Well, what I've seen, the trend that they've been doing is they've sort of been rotating more of the focus, like 2 each. So like you'll have a Yaz and Ryan episode, and then a Graham and Ryan bit.
Yeah.
And then there'll be more of the Doctor and Yaz, and then there's going to be more like interaction between the Doctor and Ryan and stuff. This episode was Dr. Ryan and Yaz Graham, I feel, because that's how they split the focus for the first half-ish.
I think the most focus was the Doctor and Yaz, and then Graham got a couple of really nice bits, and Ryan just doesn't do much of anything.
Ryan is, he's running around and having adventures.
Yeah, and I will say I like the commitment to the running gag that he just keeps pressing buttons, because it's him that presses the buttons on the console to bring up the dust.
No, but I really like that moment.
Is fun.
Yeah, I really like the moment with Yaz and Gran, because that's not really a character interaction we've seen too much of.
Oh, that was heartfelt. That was heartbreaking.
I loved it.
and the whole business about the broken watch. And at the end saying, do you want to know the story about the watch? She says, no, tell me another time. And yeah, that really got to me.
God.
That brought back memories of me as a much younger man sitting on my grandfather's lap and him telling stories to me. And that's, I think, why I got emotional at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back a bit lighthearted again. The best line of the entire episode for me is when the Doctor is talking about how Yaz has got to be careful, or she might Marty McFly herself out of existence. Imagine a universe with no Yaz. We can't have a universe with no Yaz.
Love it.
I mean, people are already having a field day with the. Can I use this trope without offending people? The Les Ye trope.
Oh.
You know what that is, don't
please.
you?
There's some people who already theorized that Yaz is bisexual just because she denied being the Doctor's girlfriend and Ryan's girlfriend.
Les Ye, basically, Fresno, is just when lesbians are sort of acknowledged on camera in a non-embarrassing way, I think.
Good.
When they're sort of celebrated.
Like in Arachnids with the lady who had a wife.
Well, that wasn't really celebrated. She got killed off after that.
Well, yeah, but it was just sort of background. It was just like there.
That wasn't Les Ye.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say that wasn't Les Ye. That was Bury Your Gaze.
Yeah, you're right on that one. But either way.
But the ship is strong with this one, is all I'm going to say.
There you go. It's neat.
13 in Yaz. I don't know how the hell you're gonna make that into a ship, like word-wise, but...
don't you fucking doubt the shippers. Don't you doubt
I'm not doubting them. I'm not doubting them for 1 second. I'm just saying... Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I can tell you right now, there's probably already like 15 billion fan fictions all about this. So.
Oh my god.
Someone has come up with a word for this.
Quite possibly. Is that you trying to find out what the word is?
Maybe.
Oh my god.
You're so predictable.
Yeah, here we go. The Daily Mail. Fans rejoice as they claim Yaz is bisexual. Just because she denied being both the Doctor and Ryan's girlfriend.
Well, that's the Daily Mail.
Well, I mean, I can see... Well, I mean, when it comes to, like, LGBT representation, an absence of heteronormativity, they take it as a canon. It's sort of like the Airbud clause. Well, there's nothing here that says that Yaz is heterosexual, so therefore she can be bisexual.
Yes, on the other hand, Fresno, it's the Daily Mail.
Guys.
Okay. I'm not saying it's just the Daily Mail.
She's found it. She's found it.
What have you found? You found.
It's called Thasmin.
Oh my god.
What is it? I didn't hear that.
Thasmin.
Yeah.
Yes, what?
Yasmin with a TH at the beginning.
Oh. Okay.
It's Thasmin.
Oh, God alive. Okay.
It's Taz.
Jesus Christ. Oh, no.
Or should I say, it's Yes.
Doctor Who, then, huh? This is a...
Welcome to the internet, where literally every single couple is possible.
Congratulations to the shippers on remaining undefeated, that's all I'm going to say.
Every single couple is possible.
The undefeated streak continues to Goldberg-level proportions.
And nothing hurts. Great.
Goldberg has nothing on the shippers, that's all I'm going to say.
So speaking of a relationship, Prem and young Umbri?
Yeah, Prem, Umbri and Manish. I think Shane Zaza gave a fantastic performance as Prem.
Oh, it's wonderful.
He comes across as extremely human.
Well, I mean...
He's a very compassionate... Yeah.
Kat, too soon.
Is what we're saying.
How is that too soon? I'm saying he was human.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
You
Too
said he came
soon.
across as very human. It's like, of course he came across as human. He was human.
You never heard that phrase before? All right, fine. He came across as very relatable.
There you go.
Damn you both all the
Or
way
you
to
could have
Hades.
also chosen, he came across as very real.
Thank you. Damn you both all the way to
He
Hades.
was very compassionate, is what I felt, because he loved Umbrian. He didn't have any sense of like religious prejudice or anything like that, and he loved his brother right until the end. He was just his
Manish?
compassion made him more relatable / human.
Yeah.
Plus, when he talked about the war, you could see the horror in his eyes as he remembered what all he went through.
God.
Well, he lost his brother in it.
And, I mean, it's not just losing your brother.
It's not
the
just
horror.
that. Yeah. It's just, war. War never changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Shane Zaza, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You are.
You are amazing. Amazing.
What's impressive about Zaza's performance is he's not an actor I'm very familiar with. He was in a drama I watched recently in a supporting role. It was about the media. It was called Press.
Okay.
He didn't really have much of anything to do in that. He was one of the numerous people working on the newspaper, one of the two newspapers. And I only really found out that it was him when he was included in that cast reel, and I just happened to look up the name. Oh yeah, Shane Zaza. I knew that name was somewhat familiar. This is a really good performance. I'd almost say it's a breakout performance for him. I hope so, anyway.
He deserves it.
Really, all of the performances from the secondary cast are just amazing.
I think the girl that played younger Umbrian, she had her moments where she felt a bit wooden.
And she was all right.
On the whole, she was all right. One criticism that I think people have said is that it felt a bit like they just got together a lot of actors from Birmingham and tried to make them sound like they were from India.
Oh, I don't know anything about Birmingham.
I would just say that Birmingham is like, I suppose it's fair to call it the Asian capital of England.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of Asian nationals, Asian-related nationals there.
I get what you're saying.
That's not me being prejudiced. I'm just...
You're not saying that they're
well,
bad.
No, it's true. I mean, we have places here like there's Chinatown in places like New York and D.C. So it's totally plausible for there to just be a section of the world where it's just there are just certain people there. That's just how it works.
This is where people. Yeah. Okay.
There's a place near me that is primarily an Asian community, and there's a lot of Asian stores and writing and things like that. So it's just one of those things that exist.
But do you remember
if anybody's offended by that, they're stupid.
I'll be honest with you guys. Do you remember last week how I said one of the major problems of Conundrum was that it had too many characters and therefore the focus was not... Basically, there was too much to focus on, so it felt rushed, and not enough was expended upon.
Go on.
Well, this episode, it doesn't have that problem. Yes, there are still the 4 main characters and 4 major guest characters. The Holy Man barely counts because he's in it for all of 2 seconds. He is just plot dressing. And the poor sod didn't even get a credit, by the way.
Oh.
At the end. That poor man. But the clever thing that Patel does is that when Manish and Umbrian's mother are not needed, they don't appear. Or they're not noticeable.
Yeah.
And therefore the focus can remain on Prem and Umbrian, as it should be. The one downside of this is that because Yaz is so important, and the Doctor, obviously, you cannot make the Doctor a background character, the sacrifice that's made is Graham and Ryan.
Well, okay. Let's be fair. You can make the Doctor a background character because we've done it before in Doctor Light episodes like Blink.
All right, in a non-Doctor Light episode.
There you go.
But also, I'd counter that, Graham and Ryan have gotten so much focus already that, giving them a little bit of a background sideline is fine. They'd had the whole subplot with Yas last week, so,
Graham did get a really
you gotta
nice
find
moment.
It's a balancing act.
He did get a really nice moment where he's told that Prem's going to die, and he cannot bring himself to say this to Prem, obviously, for obvious reasons. The future has to remain unaltered. So he just gets emotional and then says, all we can strive to be is good men.
God, that was a moment.
Great message. He also got a more light-hearted moment.
He gave him words he would need to hear.
He also got a more light-hearted moment where he offered to sing at the wedding. Which is all the funnier because Bradley Walsh is a singer in real life.
Oh my God.
He has an award-winning album.
Amazing.
He has a hit album.
All right, I need to look this up now.
Bradley Walsh sings the classics or something along those lines. No, it's real. It's real.
Wait. So that means they made a meta joke?
Yeah. And it's even funny because he calls them the greatest hits, and then it says for you guys the latest hits or something.
Christ.
Yeah, it was really good. That was a really good piece of writing. And then we've mentioned how Prem is like a good man, the quintessential good man. His brother, not so much.
Arguably, his brother he's either the real villain of this episode, or he's just the one motivated by the real villain of this episode, which is religious prejudice / the fire stoked by the Partition of India.
No, he's the true villain.
Yeah, I would agree. He's the true villain. Because he had the option to not do this.
He literally killed a man just so two people of a different religion wouldn't get married.
Yeah.
Which has very chilling connotations with very chilling parallels with today's society, of course, because you do hear of honor killings for that exact same reason.
Christ. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was a problem then, it's a problem now, I guess.
Yeah, but I thought Manish was a very effective and, dare I say it, despicable villain.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm sure at one point he may have been a good man, but he's allowed his beliefs to twist his mind.
He's so convinced and convicted in his beliefs that he has his own brother killed.
He's a religious zealot. Basically what he is. He's a religious zealot.
You wonder if he's happy with what he had to do or not.
Well, if he wasn't happy, would he have done it?
I mean, after the fact.
Yeah, I understand. But Prem was not in the way. Prem was not a Muslim. Sorry, go on.
The thing is, I'm not entirely sure if he was actually religiously motivated. Because while you obviously you can make the argument that he felt very strongly about this, the question remains that does he actually believe this, or is he going so strongly against this because this is what he feels he should do in order to survive?
I don't really know about that.
I wouldn't.
Well, think about it this way. He went and killed his own brother. Or at least he had his own brother killed. That takes a lot. It takes either a lot of desperation or a lot of conviction in order to just let that happen. Because this is someone that you grew up with. This isn't just, your dad left you when you were 5 and then he came back like 20 years later and wants to... This isn't Ryan's story, essentially, is what I'm getting at. Where Ryan legitimately does not know the man who he has to call father. Meanwhile, he totally knows his brother. He knows what his brother's like. He changed a bit because of the war, but he still must love his brother. Otherwise, he wouldn't, go to, such lengths in order to try to, quote unquote, save him. So the real question
is getting rid of the Muslims and being Hindu.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I mean, he even says
And
India for the Hindus now.
Christ.
That's what he was trying to do.
You make a good point, but I think the idea that he's not motivated by his religion doesn't really ring true when he literally says India for the Hindus.
Yeah, but that's just a racist thing, or I don't know what the word is for.
It's a nationalist thing. It's not a racist thing.
Prejudice?
Well, nationalist. No. There it is. Thank you.
Yeah, that works.
The point is that there were a lot of people. I'm going to go back to the Holocaust. I'm sorry. There were a lot of people who truly believed in what Hitler was saying, and then there were people who did not, but they complied just because that was their best option. Because otherwise they'd be the one who was killed and put in concentration camps and who knows what else. So while I would say that he does obviously feel that it's something that has to be done, I can't honestly say that if this was true hatred, because he was still very cordial to them. I mean, he still spoke to them, and, you know, he wasn't outright, what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive to them. He wasn't saying, you know, get the hell off my farm or anything like that. He just tried to convince them over and over again that this is the way things are now. This is what it's going to be like. I have connections that said that this is where the divide is. So now you guys belong over here and we belong over there. That to me does not sound like someone who's trying to do it for religious or any other reason than him trying to survive. Because he is in that position where people are going to associate him with Yaz's grandmother and her great-grandmother.
It's an interesting point.
And that could be incredibly deadly.
I get where you're coming from.
That's a very interesting point.
It's like the same thing happened in Rwanda, where all you had to do was have the wrong nose shape, and immediately they would think that you were, I think it was, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Tuisti? I can't pronounce it at all. It's been years. But just the smallest offense to a mob can have you killed in an instant.
Yeah.
And he knew that these people were going to come no matter what, so he went to them first in order to try to survive. He gave his brother the chance to step out of the way and let them get rid of anybody who they thought did not belong.
But similarly,
and that again, that screams to me desperation, not pure actual hatred.
Similarly, they could have rode around him.
Exactly.
They chose not to. It was their conscious choice.
Yep.
Because it was easier.
Yeah.
That's just like the frenzy that the partition had the populace fired up with, I guess.
The interesting thing for me is that the Manish actually lets the Doctor and her friends go. Which might lend some credence to Kat's theory. He's not motivated just by religion. Because if he was motivated by religion, he might just grab the gun and just shoot everybody.
Exactly. If he was motivated by religion, he would, his brother, he saw his brother being married to a Muslim. He knows what his brother has done. If he was really, religiously motivated, he would have shot his brother straight out for doing that. Because that's what people do.
Plus, he also murdered the holy man.
Yeah, here, what I'm surprised with is that he didn't actually try to murder Umbreen. Like, when I saw the cracked watch, I thought that maybe something like he tried to shoot Umbreen and Prem would take the bullet and somehow the bullet would smash the watch.
Oh
something
my god.
Like that. Like, that's what I thought the episode was building up to once things happened.
It could have been that, or it could have been that the watch blocked the bullet, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and then the watch dropped, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he shot the holy man in order to stop his brother from getting married, to save his brother.
And the cruel ironies
it sounds
of
to
fate.
me more like someone who's just trying to survive.
The cruel ironies of fate. He tries to save him. He gets him killed.
If it does turn out that this was indeed, religiously motivated, and I'm talking out my ass, obviously that is also completely possible. I'm just presenting my alternate theory that could also be.
I like this theory. I like that we can talk this in depth about the motivations of one guy with a gun and stuff.
I don't think you are talking out of your ass at all. I think you have your opinion. It's a very interesting one, and it's not one that should be dismissed just because, from what I saw of the episode, that wasn't quite how it happened. But it doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean you're wrong.
And I mean, we'll be talking about Kat's headcanons again in a second.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where this is the sort of thing that does actually happen. And you have to take both possibilities into mind that anything could happen. It's a mob that's coming for them.
But before that headcanon,
what they need to do.
Please allow me to gush about for what I thought was the strongest element of this episode.
What's that?
The monsters.
Well, they're not monsters now, are they?
Well, they're not monsters, no, but these are the best, I think, alien species we've had in years on Doctor Who.
Oh, for a second there I thought you were gushing about the true monsters, which is white people, and I was about to be like, we're white people.
The true monster, colonialism.
The Thajarians. I'm talking about the Thajarians.
Oh, yeah.
Who I really dig on both a conceptual level and an aesthetic level. Aesthetically, these guys look awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
They do. So, who here, other than me, has actually read the manga or watched the anime of Death Note?
I, read part of it.
I've seen bits of the anime.
Who here is kind of reminded of Ryuk, the Reaper from it, whenever they see the...
I never thought of that.
I've seen parts of the anime.
I totally see it.
Okay. I think I get where you're coming from.
It's mostly the shoulder spikes, but you can definitely see, similarities. I'll send you a picture later so you can see what I mean.
I just think the designers did a fantastic job on these two guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or as I later found out, these two girls, because they were actually... The actresses were women. The portrayers were women.
Damn, that's
And
nice.
the voice actresses were women.
Lovely.
But everything about them, the design, the fact that they talk telepathically and that actually hurts people, but they're not doing it to be cruel, it's just how they talk.
Yeah, they even toned it down.
Yeah.
And, well, we did already touch on this in the Doctor section, but yeah, they're introduced as the deadliest assassins in the universe, so says the Doctor, but they've actually renounced that, and now they just go to people who die alone and watch them die, so they're not alone. Which I know Kat was yelling, but continuity. Try squaring this away with testimony from Twice Upon a Time.
Yes.
Which makes the final moment, the final milliseconds of a person's life in the Doctor Who universe, just this amazing, convoluted, goddamn time frame.
I can sum it up with 4 words. What's
that?
Never alone, never forgotten.
Oh, that's so poignant in what yesterday was.
Oh my god.
Oh.
And I noted this in my text review, but the vibe I got from this episode generally, given that it's about a family member of a companion, and the whole someone has to die, time can't be rewritten, they have to die, all this stuff. The vibe I got was from Father's Day, the Series 1 episode.
Why did you have to remind me of that episode?
It's a good episode.
It's heart-wrenching.
Oh yeah, it's
the first time Doctor Who made me cry.
It's the first Doctor Who I ever saw in full, so how do you think I feel?
Granted, 2005, I would have been 15, but it was still the first Doctor Who episode to make me cry.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, but it's the same sort of thing. They're almost, and the Doctor adapting their sort of motive there in we can't change this, but we can be there for him. And the companions agreeing to it. Like, they could all have left, but they were like, no, we can't do that. We gotta stay here, and we gotta be there for them. Which I really love.
Yeah.
In a way, they parallel Rose at the end of Father's Day, the woman who stayed and held Pete's hand. They're the people who stayed
sometimes
with
that's all
Prem
it takes.
from a distance and witnessed his final moments. And then the third problem, I gotta look them up. Thajarians.
The Thajarians, yeah.
Thajarians put his DNA extract or whatever into their little memory vial. The memory of Prem will not be forgotten, which is really poignant considering the transmission date of the episode.
And that shot where his likeness, his image goes up, and he's just joined by thousands of faces. Well, beautiful, yes, but also absolutely terrible.
Well,
because the implication, I think, is that these are all the victims so far of the partition.
Oh, I didn't get that. I thought it was just all the people they visited in the past.
No, it could have been all. It could have been all of their all the people they've mourned for. Yes, but
yeah. Oh, I actually like yours because it makes the whole thing of the episode being about the partition, like it really does show the human cost of it.
I think you can look at it either way,
which I really like.
I think the Holy Man. I think the Holy Man's image is in there.
Well, you know that because he was like the first guy they got in the episode.
No, I mean in that final shot when Prem's image is thrown into the air.
Yeah,
I think the Holy Man's is there too. Is all I'm saying. Yeah. It's on camera for a very few short seconds.
Okay, well you caught it, so good on you.
I believe I caught it. Yes.
No, but I'm going to go into a little tangent now that we're talking about the point of the episode and how this whole episode was a tragedy. It is the story of Umbrine's loss and Prem's life, how he lived and how he died. Now, 2 weeks ago for the Arachnids podcast, I did have a little complaint about how the episode's resolution wasn't really up to par. The Doctor didn't exactly save the day or be the hero or stop the bad guy and stuff. The bad guy, as it were, got to do a thing the Doctor disagreed with, and then just walk off semi-triumphant. And that was the end of the episode. Now, Kat pointed out to me when I was talking about comparisons here last night that Robertson in the Arachnids in the UK actually is a sad, pathetic little man who needs Kevin's to tell him when to go to the goddamn bathroom. And his whole thing probably unraveled in 2 seconds when somebody blabbed with the spiders.
Yeah, more than
likely. Which I like. I like the headcanon. I'll accept that headcanon / semi-textual, not on-screen thing. I don't know how to say it. That's a helpful band-aid for an otherwise unsatisfactory ending for me, I'll say. But what I will say is, if Doctor Who in the Whittaker era is about the Doctor doesn't always save the day and whatnot, and things are sometimes a tragedy where people are unavoidably killed and you can't change it, if that's the default method, this episode, the way they do it in this episode, is a much better way of doing it, I'd say. Because the entire tragedy of it all, the beautiful tragedy of how the Doctor can't save the day, but she can help make it better. She can help marry these people. She can help she can help them out. She can brighten their day just a little bit. Just help a little bit. Just be a doctor. Just heal. If that's the message we can have going forward, that's great. That's interesting and new. I like that. I will still criticize Arachnids because the episode isn't about the fact that the Doctor doesn't win. That's just the surprise at the end. Like Robinson walks in with a gun, surprise, motherfuckers, I win! And waltzes out. Which doesn't satisfy me. But this satisfied me. It's a beautiful tragedy, as I keep on saying, and I love it. And I'm done.
It's pure Shakespearean tragedy.
It really is.
I think you brought up Romeo and Juliet earlier. It does have echoes of that. It has echoes of West Side Story, which I know that's not a Shakespearean tragedy, but it is based
that's just Romeo and Juliet in the city.
I was going to say,
it's better than Romeo and Juliet.
It's not a Shakespearean tragedy. Wow, Kat, wash your mouth out.
Look, all I'm going to say is that they were not in love. Those two were not in love. Romeo and Juliet were teenagers who found each other to be sexy, and then they thought they were in love, okay?
I'm trying to think of a non-Shakespearean-based love story of two tribes. I'm sure I can think of one.
How about Twilight?
That's what I said. Twilight! It's true. You know it's true. It's not good, but it's true.
That part it is. It really is. This is a better love story than Twilight.
Now that's a ringing endorsement if ever there was one.
Keeping the memes alive.
Oh, no. And now I'm marrying you. Fuck.
That's just if they ever make this into if they ever put this like in the theaters, that's just the poster. It's like the Demons of the Punjab, better love story than Twilight, Kat, Doctor Who reviews.
Oh, I'm glad we could have a bit of levity. So,
I will say that.
Trust me, if I had that kind of power, I'd put that tagline on every single movie that ever came through.
The twist halfway through that these aliens, the so-called monsters, are not the monsters. That was pulled off brilliantly.
And
There's some lovely foreshadowing. There's some lovely foreshadowing beforehand because the Doctor's in the ship, the Fajarian ship, and she's like, or the hive, I suppose, the Fajarian hive.
Mm.
And she says it's beautiful, or I think Ryan might say it's beautiful, or is it even Prem? Somebody says it's beautiful anyway. And she says, yeah, for demons. And that's all like, well, hang on a minute. If it's a beautiful hive, maybe these aren't the demons you think they are.
The real demons were the people on horseback who shot Prim.
Yes. Of course they were. But the point is, like with the spiders, the Pating, these aliens prove that not all monsters, not all non-human species have to be evil in this show. And I think that's a good message. Again, it's fresh, it's different.
And unlike arachnids in the UK, it's fresh and different in a way that's baked into the entire ethos of the episode.
If they do it all the time, this series, it'll get repetitive. But now and again, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I saw some criticism from someone who said that, they're doing this whole thing again. I don't remember the exact thing, but there were certain elements of this episode that were reminiscent of episodes earlier in the Whittaker era, and they said, okay, well, it's kind of like repeating itself at this point. I don't really like that. Which I get, but also this episode does them better than those other episodes, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
And the other really, really powerful moment, I mean, we've mentioned it before, but Prem's murder.
God.
The climax of the resolution of the episode.
Beautiful tragedy.
It is. And the fact that you don't even know for certain who shot him.
I'm pretty sure it was one of the people on horseback, but...
But you don't see the trigger being pulled, you just hear the gun go off.
Yeah. Can I say one thing about that?
You can.
The one thing that kind of took me out of it is when the, how do you pronounce it again? Thajarians?
Thajarians.
Mm-hmm.
When the Thajarians just sort of like randomly popped in during like this whole huge tense moment, I was like, okay, you're here. Can you just have like walked into the scene instead of popping in? It kind of took away from the scene a little bit for me.
I get you though.
It was just their way of relieving the Doctor of her burden.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I would prefer, like, if they came behind, put a hand on their shoulder and said, we will take it from here.
That would have been nicer.
Oh, I love that.
Instead, they just pop into place in front of them, and it's completely jarring.
That would have been really nice.
You're expecting a gunshot at any moment, and then all of a sudden, pop! They're here.
That might have been partly for time constraints and partly just because to keep up with the theme of them teleporting. But I love your idea much more.
I love it.
That you just see a gentle hand on the Doctor's shoulder and says, "We will take care of this now. You may go."
Yeah,
that would have been beautiful.
That would have been a lot better and a lot less jarring. Brilliant.
But yeah, okay, these guys, best.
BBC, I'm totally available to come in and write for you guys, or just sit there and come up with ideas. I'm available. I can do it online, over the phone, whatever you need. Please.
The secret's out. This podcast is just to get us a job writing.
Yes.
It's secretly just a big pitch podcast.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are still here. So bye.
Well, I'm here because I have no choice.
No, that's true. So, have you figured it out yet, by the way?
What?
where I am?
You will. So,
I'm gonna guess if I get out of this building, it's gonna get very hot.
no, not quite. You'll see.
Can't wait.
So, yeah, this episode was just amazing.
So, are we ready to go? Overall thoughts on this? Or?
I think that's what she's doing.
Okay, well, Kat, go wild.
Hey, I was just saying it was amazing, but yeah, this was the human element that you really need in these types of shows because, you can go into space as much as you like and you can talk about aliens and see all this sci-fi bullshit that you have to deal with and hey, there's our strong leaders tag. But when you have this really human moment, the moment of people who are sitting around in fear, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing what's coming over the horizon and just, trying to exist and live and all this tension. This is the sort of thing that I really love in a TV show like this, where it brings in that human element, where it brings in that historical accuracy and, just the emotions and everything. And they did it so well. And this is just an amazing first run from this writer. And I can't wait to see if he does more and whatever else he does. Because I'm just so excited at the thought of being able to watch more of this person's writing. This was an amazing episode. It was emotional. It had great characters in it. I loved it.
Excellent. I adored it as well. I hope Vinay Patel, if Yaz is in Series 12, I hope he writes another episode about her for it. If not, I still hope he comes back anyway and writes something because he really proved himself here. This is an amazing debut of a writer in Doctor Who. It is, as I keep saying, a beautiful tragedy, but the tragic element of the Doctor not being able to save the day because time can't be rewritten and all that is interwoven throughout the entire episode as opposed to being a surprise end. And things shift gears halfway from it being sort of a Moffat-era Stop the Monsters episode to what I guess is the defining Whittaker-era aspect of things, which I'll summarize as be a doctor. Be there for the people, help them, heal them. That's what the Doctor does in this. She can't save Prem, but she can make his last moments that much better. And let him get married, and let him defend his family. And it's just beautiful. It is the high watermark of the Whittaker era for me so far. Only Rosa comes close, and as we've said, Rosa is a very different kind of good. That I like this kind of good better, let's say. This kind of quality television better. Not to diss Rosa too much, but it's not exactly comfy, as we've said. But, yeah. This is great, and like I've said, if you want to do a story where the Doctor doesn't win to be refreshing, this is the way to do it, by baking that concept into the entire episode and defining what the new 13th Doctor should be. I love it. Brainiac.
Yeah, pretty much what you two just said is perfect, but I thought, as I said, this is the strongest episode of the series to date. It's not perfect by any means. We have Ryan and Graham relegated to the background, but that feels like a necessary evil. The aliens were the best concept the show has had in years, bar none. Yaz gets a lot more flesh on her bones, which was much needed. Jodie Whittaker is on absolutely searing form. And what a timely episode. November the 11th, Remembrance Sunday, 100 years after the end of the First World War. And yeah, they even went to the trouble of putting poppies in the episode. There was a poppy field in the episode.
Hey.
That's the kind of more subtle message I can dig. That I really like. When it's not trying to smash you in the face with the message, it's just there on the screen, and if you see it, you think about it. That's the better kind of message for me. And to those saying this is, it's PC, it's social justice bullshit. I say, where have you been for 53 years?
That actually, have you seen that tweet floating around?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you're referencing.
That's exactly what I'm referencing.
Let's not give that any more attention because fuck it.
It's very funny though because it's actually factually inaccurate as well.
Oh, that's the point. Don't worry. Dozens of people have dragged them for that.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. But yeah, just a
I
very
have no idea what you
poignant,
guys talking about.
very heartfelt, very
I'll tell
emotional episode. It tugged at my heartstrings, and yeah, it was necessary. It was beautiful.
So, hey, Rainiac, have you figured out where you are yet?
Well, I got loose of my bonds, so I'm just gonna check the door. No. No, you didn't.
Hey, Kat, where did you send those ninjas anyway? I know I hired them, but you gave them the info.
Well, I found a lovely little company that will ship anything to anywhere. You might have heard of it.
eBay?
Yes, I sent him to eBay. eBay, which is an entirely user-run auction house, totally has a warehouse just full of crap that I sent it to Kerblam, you idiot.
Kerblam? Wait, what the hell is Kerblam?
I don't know, but I'm
sure we'll
concerned about
find
the lack
out.
of oxygen here.
Oh, you don't need oxygen, right?
Well, I thought I did to, live, but hey.
Oh, wait, no, that's rocks. Rocks don't need... Okay, hang on. I'll be right there in about a week. Is that okay?
I guess.
Okay, you'll be fine. Just check a box. Maybe somewhere around there's some oxygen tanks or something. You'll be fine. He'll be fine.
It's not like I have much choice. It's not like I have much choice. So yeah, join us next time if I'm still alive, I guess.
Watch out for the robots. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, join us next time if I'm still alive to join you, I guess, for Kablam! Exclamation mark. Which looks like a cross between the long game and the beast below.
And Amazon.
And it's probably going to be a big middle finger to Amazon, yes.
Oh, Doctor Who better take on fake Amazon.
And I guess I'll try and find a way back to Earth, and we'll see what happens next week.
Just find a box and pack yourself in it. You'll be fine.
And until then, thank you for watching Doctor Who Reviews as ever. We'll see you next time. Now go look in this box. Oh my god, it is Gwyneth Paltrow's head. What the hell, Cat?